Good morning, it's FIDE Master Johnny Curtis, and we are going to look at a game played by the great, the one and only Monkey Brain Moves. That's right, also known as Nawats. It's Nathan, Teddy. You know Nathan. Well, he goes under the name of Monkey Brain Moves. Do you want to say good morning to the viewers? Good morning, viewers. Special good morning to TheDotachess, our new friend, TheDotachess. And TheDotachess, Teddy, has been a member of chess.com for some time, and he's just learning how to play chess. TheDotachess was playing the black pieces, and Monkey Brain Moves has trapped him in a notorious trap that beginners, lots of them fall for it. And I think even when I began to play chess, I fell for this trap as well, Teddy. And it's the trap in the, well, we'll show you. Okay, here we go. E4 was played by Monkey Brain Moves. And the DOTAchess for the United States rated 512. He's on his way up. Knight to F3 is played, simply attacking the E pawn. And now this is the Petrov's defense, okay? And there's nothing wrong with the Petrov's defense, so the DOTAchess understands that this is a simple equalizing variation. Knight takes E5, and now knight takes E4. Now the correct, black has played knight takes pawn. Now the correct way to play this position is to play queen to E7. Queen E7, Teddy. Attack the knight, right? And if the knight moves back, then you can simply play knight takes pawn. Threatening, check, wins the queen, right? Okay, so that's what can be played. And of course, after knight takes pawn and queen here, if the knight's protected, right, if the knight's protected, well, you still just play pawn here, and the knight has to retreat, and then again, knight takes pawn, say white develops with bishop here. Yes, you do have to be careful of a quick castle and rook here. However, what black can play here is a simple knight to f6 or d5, just protect the knight, white castles, and then you just retreat your queen back quietly back to the original square, and the position's equal and the game can continue from there, such as rook pins knight against king, and then you can just play a move like, lots of moves can work, but you could play a move like bishop to bishop 4. Can we do that? It's a bit tricky. You can play bishop to e7, but you lose a pawn, do you? You could try that. But that's the right way to play, right? Okay, so knight f3, knight f6, knight takes, queen to e2 was played, and now our good friend DOTAchess plays knight to d6. And this is the trap, Teddy, okay? Knight checks. And now this knight covers this square here, and now the queen is lost, okay? So in that position, the best move is probably resigns, but our friend DOTAchess is a fighter. So he plays queen to e7. Knight takes e7 is played, correct. Bishop takes e7. And now knight to c3 is played. Now you might notice that black castles, you can take the bishop. Right? Castles, well, he shouldn't play that move. I don't think it's the best move. But it's such a bad position that really there are no moves in that position. But he chose castles. Let's look at this move. Queen takes e7. Now, when we look at this position, Black has an option here. Rook here. Look at this move. Protected by this knight, and pins the queen against the king. So after queen takes rook check, it's the best move. The knight takes back. And now in this position, black's got 3 minor pieces. He's got a castle. He's 1 castle down, right? He's a castle down, and he hasn't even got a pawn for it. But still, it's better than being a queen down, isn't it? DotachessS, it's still better than being a queen down. So queen takes e7. Knight c6, developing a piece. Now I thought he might just take the castle here, which is a logical move because you've still got an extra piece. But no, he plays queen to e3. Now, knight to f5 is played by DotachessS. Now, it's a move that attacks the queen, right? However, in that position, another move for a beginner would be knight here. And because you're playing a beginner, it's beginner against beginner, though God bless us, Teddy. God bless us. It's a bit chilly here. Though in this position, we must remember Monkey Brain Moves has been watching FM Johnny Curtis chess on YouTube, and he's been learning a few things. They're locked in. Okay. However, that would threaten knight takes pawn check, attacking the king and attacking the queen and attacking the castle. And if black was able to take the pawn with check, then instead of losing a whole rook for the queen, he'd only lose a knight for the queen and gain a pawn, and he'd have a little bit of compensation, not much, but a little bit of compensation for being a piece down, okay? So knight to b5 was a better move against a beginner once you've blundered. However, queen to e2, knight to d6, knight takes c6, queen to e7, knight takes, bishop takes, knight to c3, castles is played, and, well, unfortunately that loses to queen takes bishop, and it's probably the best move. Queen takes bishop, and then next move, if you get pinned, you just take the castle as well, and white wins pretty easily. He played queen takes e7. Now, well, in this position, rook here is still the best. Anyway, knight c6, queen e3, knight to f5. Well, that doesn't cause white any problems, and you don't get your queen back after this move. So bishop knight to f5, knight to f5. And now queen to d3. Well, this move by Nathan or Monkey Brain Moves, the problem with this move is it blocks this pawn from moving forwards, and that can't release the bishop. So a more logical move would be just bishop queen here. Queen is it's protected. Queen there, right? It's protected, and it's nice and safe in the little cuddly spot, Teddy. You know what a cuddly spot is. So queen here is a much better move, and that way you can then proceed with pawn here and develop the bishop, etc., etc. Okay, so this queen move is not a good move. Knight f5, queen to d3, knight f5 to d4. This is not a bad plan because black could play d3. Needs a couple of moves to play this, but pawn here, and bishop attacks the queen, and maybe try to get hold of this pawn with a check. Right, so that might be the plan. Let's have a look and see what happens. Knight to e2 is played. Now this is a very powerful move. It threatens knight takes knight. It's not easy to deal with, right? And it also repels the forces. There is one little trick there in this type of position, and where you can win the castle or take the queen off the board for the 2 knights. And do you know what that move is? I'll give you a thought process. A little thought process here. Well, the move is knight here, right? Knight attacks the queen. And as you can see, the idea is to play knight takes pawn check, attack the king, and take the castle off. You know, we showed you this knight move before, didn't we, Teddy? Well, we certainly did, Johnny. That's right. Well, monkey brain moves would be a little bit confused about that, but in actual fact, after queen takes knight and king knight takes pawn check, wins the queen and king here, white's still got too much material because he's won all that material in the book trap of the Petrov's Defense Classical Damiano variation. There we go. So that's what he's actually done.
Are we going out for breakfast?
We are. Okay, so knight to so I showed knight to e6 was played. Not very attacking, and so a bit too defensive. b3 is played. d6 is played. Bishop b2, developing a piece. Very logical move. Knight to g5. I don't know what he's doing there, but God bless his little heart. He's trying his best. The old DOTAchess from the United States, rated a massive 512. But watch this space. We might have to do a video on DOTAchess later and see how he's improving and everything. Castles is played. Excellent move. It brings the castle into the game. There's an open e-file. Might be able to be used. Bishop e6. This is not a bad developing move. There's only one problem with it, and that is after pawn here, the knight's trapped. It's got nowhere to go. So pawn here, where does the knight go? It's got nowhere to go. So pawn here wins a knight, right? Knight to d4 is played. So he chooses not to win the knight because he didn't see it, right? Now knight takes d4 is played. Probably forced. And now bishop takes d4. Well, the correct move is queen takes d4, threatening checkmate, right? Queen takes, threatens checkmate. And remember, this knight is still trapped here, right? So the only way to defend against the checkmate and protect the knight is pawn here, so that the knight, if it's hit here, can slip back into that square, okay? All right then, so knight takes d4, bishop takes d4. g6 is played, wrong move again. Bishop takes d4, g6. Now the problem with g6 is pawn here wins the knight, right? Pawn there wins the knight, okay? Okay, all right, and so queen to g3 was played. It's a good move, it attacks the knight. Now knight to e4, where the knight's hopping around annoying him. Queen to h4. Now he wants the knight to move back here or something so he can put his queen in there and get a checkmate. But the DOTAchess is too smart for that. He plays bishop to f5. He says, you can't come in. You keep on knocking, but you can't come in. Well, the correct move in this position would be a move like pawn hits knight. And that would win a piece because you've got to stop queen here, and well, the knight's got to go somewhere, hasn't it, Teddy? Where's the knight go? Once the knight moves after pawn here, and you're threatening to take the knight, take the bishop, right? And then you play queen here, checkmate, right? So, okay. You didn't play that. You played queen h6. It's not as forcing, is it, Teddy? f6 is played. This is a great move by the DOTAchess. He senses that something's wrong, right? The DOTAchess senses something's wrong, and now bishop c4 check. It develops a piece and threatens a check. It's a check, developing a piece, right? So that gains time. King to h8. And now again we have this problem with this knight. So pawn here looks like a great move, attacking the knight. Pawn to f3. He plays bishop to d3, but pawn hits knight is very forcing because where does the knight go? If the knight chooses to go here, You could take the knight off for nothing. And oh no, my queen, you can't take back because the bishop pins the pawn to the king. Okay? But bishop d3 is not a bad move. It's just not the best move. Rook on the a file to e8. Bishop takes e4. And this is the correct move. That's a good trade. Now, if the rook takes the bishop, queen takes rook, check is checkmate. Right, so that's why it's a good move. Okay. Bishop recaptures. The DOTAchess is too smart for that. He's not about to find out what's going on. But now, rook to h file to e1. Very powerful move. Very powerful. Not the correct rook, right? So when you play rook here, it doesn't matter in this position so much because it's just already such a clear win. However, logic says you don't move a rook here and block a rook in here. So in actual fact, the very best move is rook here, right? Okay, so you've got more flexibility. If there was more pieces on the board, it'd be important, but it's not that important. And rook here is an excellent move. Rook g8 is played. Well, unfortunately, bishop takes pawn check has been left on, and that's what our friend the monkey brain moves has played, Teddy. He's played bishop takes pawn check. And old DOTAchess, being the good sportsman that you are, Mr. DOTAchess, you played rook g7. You could have resigned here, but no, he says, I'm going to let you perform the checkmate. That shows us that Diamond member, the DOTAchess, real good sports person. There we go. Rook to e7, and now queen takes g7 is checkmate. What is it, Teddy? Oh, it's checkmate, Johnny, it's checkmate. That's right, Teddy. And so this morning we're going to have to present Monkey Brain Moves with the crown of chess. Congratulations, Monkey Brain Moves. You've done it again. And DOTAchess, our commiserations. And I'm sure that with a little bit more preparation, a little bit more experience, you will improve your chess. And so what I'm going to do is I'll send a message to DOTAchess in the chess.com messages with a link to my chess videos so that he can learn from the beginner's standpoint some of the ideas in chess and what to look out for, examining all checks and captures and some opening systems and things like that. So DOTAchess, thank you for participating. Monkey Brain Moves, congratulations once again. And with that, it's Sunday morning, it's God's day of rest, so I'm going to go to breakfast with my wife at the local Gosford RSL Servicemen's Club. Isn't that right, Teddy? Early morning breakfast for us? I hope you have a pleasant breakfast, or if you're in a different time slot, a different dinner. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and then you'll get notification of more videos, okay? Bye for now, and God bless you, and God bless all your family, and because we are one family, we're all part of the